Hey guys, so this batch gave me quite a run for my money. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was pretty grotesque at one point, as you will see. So, I wanted to finish up my autumnal batches of soap, and this is the last one. I wanted to do something that would be woodsy, but not like a walk in the woods, but something like authentic. So I got this imprint mold or impression mat from the cake supply aisle at Hobby Lobby. And it genuinely looks like tree bark. Like, genuinely looks like tree bark. So I cut it down to size to fit into my mold. There it is, that pink thing that's in the mold right now. I cut it down to size. I stuck it in there. It is silicone, so it grips to the silicone liner that I have in my mold. So it stays put. It doesn't move around. It doesn't float, doesn't shift. It's tucked in there, and the friction keeps it there with the silicone. So here I am starting. I have high hopes, really high hopes here. I used activated charcoal and cocoa powder for the colorants. I wanted to have a little bit of contrast, but not a ton. I wanted it mostly to be black, but then have some brown undertones. So these colorants, I used titanium dioxide and aniseed powder and then cocoa powder. Again, I knew I wasn't going to get as authentic of wood looking. I wasn't going to take the time. I should say that. I just cut through the fat. I wasn't going to take the time to make the delicate rings that you find when you chop into a piece of wood. I just wanted to have the top look like bark and then have the general colors to be like wood. So I did not add the fragrance oil yet. I'm just mixing in these additives because I really wanted them to be mixed well, because I know this fragrance rises and accelerates severely. I tried to cut that down by mixing the fragrance oil with another fragrance oil that is very well behaved, but it didn't seem to help. So it is a blend of Woodland Hideaway and Balsam Fir. Both of these are from the Midwest Fragrance Company. And I want to say this because I know sometimes a new maker or a maker that's not super experienced will have a bad experience with a fragrance oil and think, wow, this company really sucks. But it's not the company. It's a chemical response that is occurring in your chemical process. It's going to happen that when chemicals come together, things are going to happen. Look at that. Look at that. That is ricing and acceleration. So, back to what I was saying, things are going to happen. You know, acceleration and discoloration, they're responses, chemical responses, and they actually can happen with essential oils as well as fragrance oils, but it's more common with fragrance oils. Something to keep in mind too, I know that word chemical can be a little bit scary, and sometimes people market their materials, their products as chemical free. That's not scientifically accurate. We are dealing with chemicals. Water is a chemical compound, H2O. So if you could think back to like high school chemistry class or high school science class, even middle school science class, we learned about the different chemicals and the periodic table and all of those things. Being afraid of the word chemical is like being afraid of water. We really don't have to fear chemicals because they're not all bad. Some of them keep us alive as human beings. So just remembering that soap making is not just a craft. It's not just an art form to do something pretty. It's actually a science that you get to see unfold before your eyes. Sometimes you have much more drastic effect like I did today. Sometimes it's not as drastic. Sometimes it's much more predictable. But I don't know. I think it's still really super fascinating. I'm conducting a little bit of research on what causes ricing. Obviously, it's a chemical response, but I think it's to specific fats that you use in a recipe. So I'm hoping to kind of gain some insight in the future to maybe prevent or at least slow down the effects of ricing, because it doesn't create a chemical that is unsafe to use. This final product is safe to use. It just created an unsightly mess and was kind of difficult to deal with. So, okay, this batch is wild. Come on. That's cool. So what I ended up doing was planing off the bottom where it had the visual of the ricing, that little bumpy look, and the bars turned out great. I love how the top looks. That bark, ooh yes. That imprint mat was a big success. I love how it captured all the little crevices, like legit bark. Thanks for watching this video, guys. As always, my name's Martha. I'm the owner and operator at Blue Haven Soapery, and you can find all of my goodies online at bluehavensoapery.etsy.com.